I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is Dee, my ride or die, and we are the authors of the book Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, Make It Last. 10 Secrets to Shape Great Marriage. We've been married for going on 38 years. Woo-wee. Woo. 38 years. I was just a pup. Anyway, 38 years, haven't had an argument in over 35 years.
This is the third quarter. I should do it first. This is the last quarter. This is the fourth quarter. And as we prepare for the end of the year, you've got taxes. You've got what are the things that I didn't complete during the early part of the year. So corporations and the like plan their next year now.
In the fourth quarter, they have planned.
Some third quarter.
Yep.
And some fourth quarter. So we're doing the same thing.
Right.
So we have a goal link. I added the ing to make it active. So
it's an action word.
It's an action word.
Okay. You're goaling, which is you are in a verbing.
Right.
Like a verb or something.
So you have a bow and arrow. You got to hit the target, but you got to know exactly what the target is.
Good.
And you have to know when you're supposed to hit the target. Right?
Why don't you show them your crazy nails?
They're not crazy.
Crazy. These are crazy. Oh my God. They are crazy. Crazy.
I think this one's a little interesting. This one is different. This hand is
crazy. Just crazy. Just crazy.
It reminds you of the pointed nails. It reminds you of the woman.
Here we go. The Woman King.
And in that movie, they sharpened the nails because they used them as weapons, defense weapons. So now back to Goaling Seminar Webinar. Wednesday, June 9th from 7:30 to 8:15. And you're going to go away with a plan for at least one of your goals. We're going to deal with the visual of your board, your vision board, and with specific strategies as to how to get your other goals done.
And while we're talking about it,
the 9th, and it's $20.
It's $20. This is a great deal.
And you'll get the recording as well as the handout.
Terrence, tax question. Can I write off all the snacks on my return when I watch this program under education?
I think you need to speak to your CPA.
This is education, but whether you can write it off or not, I don't know. The snacks you're eating.
I think you need to speak to your CPA.
Speaking of finances, I shared with our nephew who has been living with us for the last 3 weeks. He left today. His home was ready today. He and his wife and their 3 children. We talked about with them the 3 legs to a financial wealth creation or generation stool. The 3 legs that help you become financially secure. 1, savings. You need to have savings. And my guest on my XM show this week is Bill Backrack, who teaches people how to become wealthy. He's an expert in financial
He's specialized. He works with people in the financial
he's an
sector.
icon. He's an icon.
So it's not like he's talking to everybody. His specialty is the financial sector people who then in turn talk to individuals. So he deals with financial advisors.
Right. So he's going to talk about that on my show on Saturday. You want to listen on Saturday. I've already recorded.
At 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock Eastern on channel 141. 141. Now,
if you have Sirius XM, but what about those who don't have Sirius XM?
They can listen to it the following week or the week after on my podcast free. Okay. Free and FREE.
And podcast, what does that mean? Does that mean they can just go
to any of their favorite podcast delivery system and look for the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast? But we recommend.
But there are hundreds of them.
We recommend iHeart, C-Suite, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts. Those 6 you can get it right off. But they're just about anybody. Now, one more thing we want to say about this financial wealth generation foundation. 3 parts. Savings. You need to have savings for at least a year to cover your expenses.
So I'm saying now 2 years.
So he said 2 years, but at least a year. You need to have
now why is that?
Well, people said the reason why they were under the 8 ball or behind the 8 ball this last time was because of the pandemic. He said, no,
They didn't have enough money saved.
He said you didn't have money prepared for a crisis. Know that history teaches us lessons. Every decade, there's going to be a crisis.
But some adults have not lived through a crisis.
They better know that.
And depending upon whose voice you hear, some say, oh, you need 3 months. Some say you need 6 months. You have to decide whose voice you're going to listen to. What will make you feel secure? And then some say, well, the savings rate is so low.
Right. Here's the bottom line. Need at least a year, almost, and 2 if you can. Now that's first. Second, you need investments. So after savings is investments. Investments are places where your money goes to work to bring you more money. It gets up and go to work, and when it comes back, it brings more money.
You know what? But you can't have investments if you don't have savings. Where are you getting the money from to invest?
Well, no, that's not true.
It's not?
No. That is how you generate money through your job, through your income producing activities, or any inheritance or things like that. Whereas
most of us ordinary people don't have.
You don't know where the people come from, but the money comes from either your job, your business, your profit sharing, or any of that. That's not the issue. But once you get that money, you can't spend it all up, and so you save. We tell people tithe a 10th, save a 10th, invest a 10th, and then live on half of the rest, and put the rest away for a rainy day, because a rainy day is coming. They don't do it. That's what he's saying. It's hard. It's hard. But it's hard when you ain't got no money. We're going to talk about this a little more about Halloween. But, okay. Saving. I'm going to tell you in a minute. Savings, investing, and then insurance. Now, we should be having this show sponsored by an insurance agency. If you know somebody who's insurance and wants to be our sponsor so we can promote them.
Education.
No, I want to promote them. Okay, that's what I want to do.
But because they're providing you with information and education.
Yeah. Victoria says the problem of cost of living is too expensive. Correct. And I would like to own a home. However, it is difficult. Correct. But listen carefully, Victoria, that most people pay more money in rent than they would pay if they had a mortgage. The key is getting a down payment. How do you do that? You have to make some tough decisions. 2 pains you're going to have in life. This is something I want everybody. 2 pains are unavoidable. 2 pains: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. All right. Now, the pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. You have to choose which one you're going to decide on. We recommend the pain of discipline. That means you're going to have to make a decision. Some of those cable channels you don't watch, you don't need. You got to let them go.
You're going to have to do without, but you have to decide
do without.
What that is.
Maybe you can't eat out every night. Maybe you got to give up on that expensive coffee. I'm not going to call no brand names, but I don't buy expensive coffee. I go to Safeway and get the cheap coffee that they make in the Safeway brand. And I buy it and I make my coffee every morning. Okay, I haven't gone to the coffee joint in years. Okay, so that was an expense that I eliminated. We don't have all the cable channel. We got the basic cable because we don't watch that much television. Because we with you guys on Monday night.
I would like to cut the cable, but I don't know how.
She want to cut it all out.
So
all right?
that
she want to go cut the stick. Yeah, we want to cut the cord, right?
Yes.
All right. So you got to make some tough decisions, Victoria. And we just giving you what we did. We could not afford a house.
And maybe moving with a relative.
We lived with my mama for a year. In her attic, no bathroom on the floor. Okay. We lived there for a year, saved every penny. We drove our cars till the wheels fell off.
And they really did. The wheels
literally fell
off. The bottom came
out of both of cars.
You drove the stick shift.
No, I'm talking about my Mercedes. The wheel fell off.
Okay.
Your car, the wheels were falling off when we got to the place right before they fell off.
The gear shift was coming apart.
All right, so Let me tell
Never
you.
buy new.
We don't buy new cars. No, buy new car. No buy new car.
So you know what? It's a change in thinking.
Yeah.
It really is a change in thinking. And you start to look at what is it that might be a budget buster. I was reading about that. A budget buster. Sometimes cable is a budget buster. Sometimes not as much as it used to be. Sending your clothes to the cleaner could be a budget buster. You know, when they say the latte factor, which by the book by Smart Women Finish Rich, David Bach talks about the Starbucks factor of that coffee every day, which used to be what, like $2.90, which is now like $6. Could be a budget. Those things add up. If you do it 3 or 4 days a week, that's $20 a month. That's what, $80 saved.
So she says, I have a special needs child, and since the pandemic, finding a suitable job is difficult. Understood. Now I want you to do 2 things. I want you to look up NACA, NACA. NACA, and I don't know where you live, but many cities have also first-time home buyer programs. Second,
and our son worked for that.
Yeah, he did. And then NACA is one where they help you get the down payment. They help you get this.
You go through an educational program. How do you spell the NACA?
NACA.
NACA.
So I want you to look at options and then whatever revenue you got coming in, whether it's coming in from social services, whether it's coming from Social Security, I want you to live below your means. Live below your means. And then invest and save the margin or the balance. Terrence
now is the time to look at all the government programs and options which are available in anticipation of the changing of legislation on the federal level.
Okay, we got to get to this week's because it's scary. So what? Because we could go. I can go down this list. All right, scary. Halloween.
Cards like Wawa free coffee. But see, you got to buy it so you can get something free.
Yeah, you got to have enough. But that's good. That's a good start. Now, look. It's Halloween. This is Halloween. People are scared. What are you scared of? What are your fears? What are things that are fears? Some have fears of heights. Some have fears of snakes. Some have fears of rats and mice. Some have fears of one guy said he had fear of darkness. Okay, he literally had a fear of darkness. I don't know what your fears. What are some of your fears? But one of the ones we want to talk about is something that we found with some of the letters we got in relationship conversations. Do your spouse's friends or homies scare you? In other words,
so you need to
explain. Your spouse is somebody you love, but when they go out on guys' night, they get drunked up or they hang out with some guys who are less than the kind of people you would want them to be around. And some of them, I remember when I used to play with the tennis crew, there was a group of tennis guys who I knew 2 of the guys were running around on their wife. I knew it. I knew they were running around on their wife.
Was that married to you then?
No, this boy I was married to. But I never said anything to them because I didn't want to get in their business, but I knew they weren't doing right.
Well, how do you know they were running around on their wives if you weren't running with them?
No, I was running with them, but I was the guy who drank the chaser. I don't drink, so I always drink up the Coca-Cola. And Terrence said, subject tonight is very burdensome one. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Hello, who you hang with is who you will become. That's Proverbs. Proverbs says, bad morals, bad company ruin good morals. They come from who you hang with. You hang with negative people. You hang with low down people. You hang with 9 losers, you're gonna be number 10.
But who you hang with? The question is, how do you approach this? You're now married. This particular
now you're married, and they still have guys' night out or girls' night out. Some of the ladies your wife hangs with are low down, and then you got the guys who are,
Well, they might not be low down. They might just have a different perspective because they're single.
Remember our friend who was married to one of my tennis buddies. I'll leave it at that for the moment. When she was ready to divorce him because he was not flashy, she went to her friend who was divorced and said, "You know what I'm talking about, okay?" And the friend said, "Oh, yeah, and talked her into it. I'm trying to talk her out of it, and talked her into the divorce because that's who she hung out with."
But she was already leaning in that.
Well, she was leaning that direction, But you can be leaning in a direction, and somebody else can come along and give you some wise counsel, okay, and say that's not a good idea, okay. So, and her
because
guy,
she was single.
Yeah, and a guy who she divorced and she left and divorced, he went on to become a multimillionaire. So he went on to become very, very successful in IT. So here's what I want to say to everybody is, do your spouse's friends scare you? And if so, what do you do about it?
Okay, the particular situation you need to summarize because my research and information is based upon a particular scenario.
Okay, the scenario. This guy felt that the women his wife went out with on their girl night out were influencing her to be loose.
Huh.
What do you think about that? Loose?
Influencing his wife to be loose? How?
Because they were loose.
But loose what? Were they sleeping around?
Yes.
He's saying his wife was sleeping around?
No, he didn't say his wife. They were sleeping around. And they said, a couple of them were married. Said, okay. And they were, and he found out about it. And he said, I'm scared of her hanging out with them, and I don't like it, and I'm uncomfortable with this.
Okay.
Okay.
So has he had a conversation with her?
Now what do you do? Okay, here we go. Here's where we go. Woo.
So the first thing, so you're uncomfortable, or he's uncomfortable with the situation with his wife's friends.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Has he had a talk
with the wifey?
With the spouse, with the wife about his concerns?
I don't think he has had a, she is kind of defensive of her friends, which people do.
So they must have talked about some things about the friends before if she's defensive. Right?
Yeah, they must have talked about something.
So then that doesn't work.
Right.
So you're going to talk to your spouse about your concerns. So he's kind of like sort of, and it's not working.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would say number 2, you've already answered that. What about her friends bothers him? And
I told you what they were.
Okay. That they're loose.
Mm-hmm.
Has he visited, has he visited their social media?
Yes, that was part of the problem.
Oh.
They were scandalous looking.
You're being over the top.
I know I am.
You're being over the top.
I know it's true though.
Okay, so he visited their social media profiles and it made him concerned about.
And they didn't put in their in their profiles that they were married, or even attached, or connected. Just left it blank.
What was his wife's picture amongst the females?
No. She might be in a group site or something, but she wasn't on her. She didn't have that. But
okay, so now we talked about it. It didn't do any good. He knows there's some things that are making him uncomfortable because he's visiting the social media profiles.
Right.
Okay, then. Number 3. See your spouse for who they are. Might not like that one. That's another.
Well, it might be who they are or who they
want to be.
Well, who they're leaning toward. We already talked about leaning to which way. People lean, and you can influence.
Well, okay, but the reality says, or the facts say this: you got social media stuff that visually shows what they're doing. And the spouse is leaning in that direction. So maybe your spouse is one who is interested in being involved in that kind of situation.
I'll give you one that came up.
So what are you going to do?
The girlfriend, the woman, her girlfriend, her best friend, used to date a guy who they both knew in college. because they were college.
Who they both? The
two
girls
women knew in college.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, they didn't get married. The guy went off, but he came back into the picture. The girlfriend had passed away. Okay.
The girlfriend died.
Yeah, the girlfriend had passed away. So the guy came back in the picture and reached this woman, said, "Hey, I'm looking for." And she had passed away. I'm so sorry. He said, "Oh, well, can we have lunch sometime?" Yeah. She said, "Well, no, I'm downtown. I work downtown." He said, "I'll come downtown one day." And he came down and he was looking very nice and he was buff and everything. He said, "You sure look good. You really look good." And she's married.
All right, so he paid the married lady a compliment.
And her husband had not been giving her the kind of attention.
So how do you know that something came out of that?
Well, that's
she told her husband?
No, she wrote a letter.
So
and the letter said, "What should I?" I'm not making this up. And the letter said, "What should I do?"
So you're saying she's interested in?
It flitted her fancies, and she got woo.
So that's immoral that she's thinking about running around.
Well, immorality is what happens all the time. That's why we're trying to get to your friends make you make What did Terrence just say? He said, "Bad company. Bad company makes you have."
Okay.
Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals.
Okay, so we're saying, what can we do?
Right.
A conversation didn't work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. What else?
You gotta have a conversation, but you gotta have an open and honest conversation. This is how it makes me feel.
Right.
You do have
that
to
didn't pay. That didn't work.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't really forthcoming. Maybe they beat around the bush and didn't go around and say, "Look, I'm very uncomfortable with you seeing."
He's looking at the social media. He sees what's going on with the girlfriends that she's hanging with.
Or he might see the kind of messages messages.
And then you didn't like my response, number 3, which was, you need to see your spouse for what she is.
What is she? What is she? Say it! Say it! What is she? Come on now! Say it now! What is she?
She has some challenges.
All right. So,
and so what are you going to do? So he's expressed concern, right? They've outlined, there's evidence that these friends are not what a married woman should lean towards in terms of fellowship, right?
Right.
That's not working.
Right, not working.
So now you have to look at, who really is this? Is my spouse? Yeah. And do they really want a monogamous relationship with me?
Right.
Then that's the conversation.
That's the conversation next. And it's a very what we call critical conversations. These are critical conversations. But don't give ultimatums. That one you wrote down.
I did say.
Don't. You do this or else.
Then that ends it. There's no place else to go, because then you back them into a corner.
Yeah, you
don't want to do that. Some of these other things, and some of these ethereal things say, well, you can agree to disagree. What? All right, so you married somebody. They have a whole nother, or developing, or making you feel uncomfortable about their behavior. And you're saying, well, maybe we can agree to disagree. What does that mean? You just allow them to do what they were doing.
Right.
That's
not gonna work.
That's not resolution.
That's not resolution. So what we recommend is have the critical conversations. Let them know exactly how it makes you feel. Don't give ultimatums. Just say, this is how that made me feel.
But then you know what? It's really the investigative work. Which is what you do with the social media. Really? That's what we do with the social media.
Got the evidence, Dee.
But we need to say that. You need to investigate.
Well, we got the investigation. She knows what's there. He knows what's there. They both know what's going on. What do? You have to have a conversation. Homeboy got to say to Miss Lady, I'm not comfortable with that. I love you. I've tried to put you in the high.
Let me ask the question: why is she doing it?
Real, ego. She likes her friends. I don't know the reasons. These are a couple questions all smashed up. One is a group of friends go out once a week with girls' night, and some of the girls in the group are. Okay.
Mhm.
And then the other one was this one where a friend passed away, and the guy came back to town and was complimentary. Don't hang out with people who will make you. Terrence is right on. Terrence, you right on. That's biblical. That's Bible. That's Bible.
But it's all tangled up now, and the reality is that this is a mess. How do you get out of it? You got to have the conversation.
Most people are very sneaky until they get their hands caught in the cookie jar. Amen. Amen. Oh, look, our time is up. Wow, we're up. This is a good topic, but we're not going to talk about scary stuff again because the Halloween will be gone. We've got next week, we got a whole nother topic area that's very interesting. You want to tune in. You want to tell everybody to tune in next week because that was very interesting what you brought to the table today. We just couldn't do it tonight because tonight's Halloween. We'll talk about something scary. What happened when the people you hang out with, your spouse hangs with, scare you. Now, we want you to go to jollymarriage.com/goaling to register for the goal setting practical information. It's only 45 minutes. You're going to come away with your plan. All right. And then second, we want you to go to jollymarriage.com. If you don't have 2 copies of the book, one for you and one for your significant other, get 2 copies or get the bundle because we want to help you to grow your relationship. And then let us know how you're doing, what you're struggling with, little things that you need a little encouragement or some advice on. That's why we're here. We do this Monday nights. We don't charge. We just want to make sure we bless people and we are grateful. God has blessed us. We got a great marriage. I love this woman. Ooh, Lord, do I love this one. That's because I'm good to you. You are good to me. All right. You too. All right. So look, folks, we'll see you a little later. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. And this is Dee Taylor-Jolley. Thank you so much. See y'all later. Jolley out. Jolley out.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.